Are Washington State's soft on crime policies leading us down a path to vigilantism? I think the answer is yes. And when you go through this period of defunding the police, we now have the lowest number of police officers per capita of any state in the nation. So you have fewer police officers to respond to even the crimes that they will prosecute individuals for. And so it's just led to a real lack of law and order. And we see this playing out. I do think that there is at least a small segment of Democrats who've seen that, who've been willing to wind back their misguided police pursuit law, which was pushed through in 2021. And because of, thankfully, a Let's Go Washington initiative coming up on June 6th, so less than a month from now, police departments, if they choose, will be able to pursue criminals again and people who steal vehicles again, which would have been a nice policy to have on the books when a guy walked into a small car lot in Eatonville called Sunrise Auto Sales in the middle of the day and decided he was going to steal a truck. He was going to steal a truck that they were just cleaning up to put out for sale. Now, when the owner of Sunrise Auto Sales saw this, his name's Aaron Babcock, he was armed with a gun. He decided to go out and confront the guy. Like, no, you're not going to steal a truck that on my watch in the middle of the day. They've got customers in the lot, holds him at gunpoint. Well, that didn't faze the car thief. The car thief was apparently not scared that he might get shot, so he decided to ram his way out of this car lot, putting lives in danger in the process, and proceed to flee. Now, Aaron Babcock did what most people would do. He had his employees and shouted at them while this guy was at gunpoint, call 911. Obviously, we got this guy at gunpoint. Get the police coming. Get the police coming our way. The only issue is because of the pursuit law and how it was, police were only able to pursue the suspect to a certain length, to a certain extent. So what did Aaron Babcock do? Well, Aaron Babcock decided he was going to pursue him. If the police weren't going to pursue him, he was not going to let this guy just get away. So he ends up pursuing him, catching up with him again, holding him at gunpoint again. Police finally arrived, took the guy into custody. This was in November of 2022. And Aaron thought, well, that's that. Police couldn't do it. Their hands are tied, so I did it. And he didn't shoot the guy or anything like that. So he thinks, that's done. Well, fast forward to March of this year, and Aaron Babcock finds out that he is being charged by the Pierce County Prosecutor's Office with reckless driving for running a couple red lights when he was chasing after this car thief because police wouldn't do it. So Aaron was understandably blindsided, and we had him on Sundays with Subscribers this past week to just talk. We talked a lot about the ordeal and step by step of what he went through, and also just this frustration. It's like, I'm being charged because I tried to defend my property and get my property back when police couldn't do it. Here's a clip from our conversation with Aaron Babcock.
I don't know if he was running out of fuel or, blew through the brakes or what was going on, but the truck was kind of not, he was probably beating on it pretty hard. So the truck was kind of not driving properly. Yeah. And, between that and being in heavy traffic, I was able to catch up and get right next to him. And at that time, I don't know why it didn't make a difference when he was here when I pulled my gun, but I pulled my gun out again and then, rolled my window down, screaming at him to pull over, and he did stop.
Wow.
Luckily.
So you held him there. Eatonville police came. They eventually arrested him. When did you realize that not only was he going to be arrested, but you'd face charges as well?
So I got a call after, he was detained and everything, and I got my vehicle off the road and had a couple of seconds for my adrenaline to calm down. I had a call from one of the police officers in the Eatonville area that were still at our dealership. And he said, hey, you need to get back here. We're charging you with reckless driving. So they told me that immediately.
Wow.
And I'm mind blown. And the officers that were there, detaining him, I told them that. And they were like, there's no way, man, pat me on the back. What you did was a good thing. I mean, they were on my side about it. Like, you're not going to get charged. That would be crazy. So that was kind of calming, and I didn't really know what was going on. But by the time that I had handled the situation there and got my truck back, the police here were gone. So I didn't really hear anything of it. And obviously, this is a year and a half ago.
Yeah. So when did you find out that you were actually going to get charged?
I got this truck. My truck is stolen. Got it back. Thanks for everyone's help and everything. Pierce County said that they were going to charge me with reckless driving. And I did post it online. A lot of people were saying, well, that's crazy. We'll stand up for you. We'll be there. I had a lot of support. Pierce County Vehicle Task Force, I believe, a couple of people there that work for them. They reached out to me and said, hey, we support you. You're not going to get charged. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So that kind of fell apart. I kind of forgot about it. A year and a half later, I get a piece of paper in the mail from Pierce County, and it says, hey, it's a summons for reckless driving.
A year and a half later?
Year and a half later. I just found that out about last week. We've had insurance, and the insurance totaled it out. So that was at least nice for us that we had the insurance. But then a month later, we get our rates are going up. And then another month later, they said, hey, we're going to drop you at the end of the year. So they ended up staying with us, but our rates, I'm not even kidding, they doubled.
Wow.
So, and it's already really expensive. Insurance is already really hard. That's one of our biggest overhead costs for our business.
Yeah.
So for our insurance to go up double every year, it makes it even more difficult to be able to be open as a business.
What would you say to some of our state representatives and the governor?
Well, I mean, it seems to me like it seems like common sense. You take you're pulling the rights away from citizens and almost giving them to the criminals, and taking it so that the police can't even enforce laws. It's almost like anybody should. It's hard to say, but yeah, I don't know. It's pretty crazy that we're even in this situation. It almost seems like it's done on purpose.
It does, doesn't it? It does, doesn't it? And I don't blame Aaron Babcock for being speechless, because how do you put words to something when it doesn't make any sense? How do you send a message to elected leaders to try to explain to them why it doesn't make sense to just let criminals have a free pass and a free getaway? It's nonsensical. So, maybe this situation would have been avoided in terms of Aaron being charged criminally had police been able to pursue this suspect. But I got to say to Pierce County prosecutors, give me a freaking break. Give me a freaking break. And especially in Pierce County, you guys have common sense. You know that sheriff's deputies, police, their hands are tied. And I'm sorry, and I don't support vigilante justice, obviously. There's a reason why I don't want, human A to be judge, jury, and executioner for human B. And I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see Aaron's driving. I don't know if people were put in danger by him. I mean, it's Eatonville, so I've been there. I have to imagine, it's not bumper-to-bumper traffic, as he pointed out. But there's a reason why you don't want citizens taking the law into their own hands. But this is the situation the state has put people in. It's like either you just shut up and take it, and you're like, yeah, steal my stuff. Yeah, assault me, whatever, and I guess we'll just hope real hard for justice. But as you know, you don't get justice in this state unless you're Bob Ferguson and you're complaining about, people who committed a crime to try to hurt your chances of becoming governor. So I don't support vigilante justice, but I also am on Aaron's side here. The Pierce County Prosecutor's Office really ought to drop those charges. That just is so insane and so unfair. I hope they do what's right there, especially considering all the other crimes that aren't being prosecuted. It's like you're going to go after this business owner who's just desperate, whose insurance rates are unaffordable because of all of this stuff. Give me a freaking break.